Hello everyone. We're finally at the end of the second trial. The only thing missing is Kotoko's interrogation. Then it's the time of emptiness and sadness, also called intermission, but I'm sure we Milgrammers are able to keep us busy, I hope. Before we start, don't forget to turn the subtitles on. Other than that, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for 3,500 subscribers. Without any further ado, here are things I'm going to talk about. Finished reading? Okay, let's start the video. Her outfit is similar to the prison guard outfit. She wants to be a guard like S, but her unique outfit lacks a lot of things that S's outfit has. So what's missing? The Milgram logo is not on her hat, meaning she's not really seen as a Milgram guard like S, and she herself agrees. She doesn't have the keys around her collarbone area, and the colours of her jacket and pants don't differ like S. What makes her outfit unique? First off, it's her pants and her top, or more like jacket. They differ from length. Whether it has a symbolic meaning, I'm not sure, but it's definitely unique. Next are her gloves. They are short and don't reach her fingers like S's. Both her middle fingers have a ring, kind of similar to those brass knuckles, but just for one finger. Is there a name for it? I think their outfits are so different because first, she's not working for Milgram but her own justice. Second, she doesn't understand Milgram itself and what and who exactly S is. I actually don't have too much to say in this segment, so on to the next one. Every prisoner has their own little chess piece. Not only that, but everyone's piece is shaped based on how Kotoko views the prisoners. We know that Kotoko can read people very easily. We see this in the first trial voice drama. She was able to tell us and S what kind of changes the prisoners are going through after receiving their verdicts. Which was crazy if you were live there. I was flabbergasted. Yet something that is bothering me is that Kotoko knows a little too much later on. As if she was also there, listening to the voice dramas, or even worse, watching the MV, and just like us also made her own interpretation. I can't tell if she actually watched the MV and whether it's possible for prisoners to be able to watch others' MVs, but I have the assumption that she eavesdropped the interrogations. For example, how does she know that Yuno was once pregnant? We can tell because of Yuno's chess piece. Or about Trikoto. I will talk about each chess piece later in more detail. So based on the information she got through eavesdropping or carefully watching the others, she gave every prisoner an individual designed chess piece. But the question would be, why chess pieces? What exactly does that mean? Chess is a strategic game played between two opponents. But Kotoko is playing against no one, as far as I can tell. If she had an opponent, it would probably be herself who is destroying all the chess piece at the end. She is the only one who doesn't have a chess piece, and yes, this is S's chess piece. She has no chess piece, yet she is always seen with S's piece in her hands. She doesn't even see herself as a chess piece, but sees S as one, or at least the role as a guard as one, and keeps a firm hold on this piece and the role of the warden. She desires to be one. The Libra, or the scales of justice, is, and I directly took this from Google, about fairness in court cases. There are two sides to every story, and each side of a case or a story must be heard. Each side gets the chance to present evidence or the details about the case. Lady Justice carefully weighs the claims of each side, using the scales of justice handout. And this is what S or we all literally do. We consider what happened, why it happened, and so much more. In contrast to Kotoko, who wants them all to be guilty, and even reduces them to what she thinks they are. Seen in the chess pieces and the lyrics. At the end of the MV, we see Kotoko losing her mind, and her wolf appears. We see all the forgiven prisoners broken on the floor, covered in blood. And then she is holding S's chess piece very tightly at the end, like she fears to lose it, and it's completely covered in blood as well. The clean version is S's way of acting as a judge, like the scales of justice, fair. The bloody version is Kotoko's way. More aggressive, violent, and immediately judging everyone guilty. Kotoko is completely aware that it's wrong. It explains her terrified expression and her tight, desperate hold on the Libra. Let's go through everyone's chess pieces. Haruka represents the typical pawn piece in chess. The only difference I can tell is that the neck is longer, and the ring is much more sharper, and probably like a diamond shaped if you look from above. I never played chess, but apparently the pawn can become a queen, bishop, rook, or a knight if it reaches the opposite side of the board. Much stronger than before. It shows that Kotoko is aware that Haruka's actually very strong, not weak as everyone or himself thinks. He can develop to become someone much greater than he already is. She is aware of his potential and danger. The longer neck means Kotoko knows that Haruka is not as young as we think. It's a theory that Haruka is actually not 16 but much older. This doesn't mean that Haruka is lying to everyone, but more like he doesn't know either how old he is. More about that in his own theory video. Yuno's also a pawn, but with a much wider stomach, aka a pregnant pawn. Very self-explanatory. But just like Haruka's piece, she is able to grow into other pieces as well. I'd say second to Kotoko knowing a lot about Milgram, or having theories about it. Yuno is in second place. She is aware about a lot of things and can read people as well. Also, both of them have a connection to Kazui. Kotoko's being that they are against each other, and Yuno's that they are very similar as in liars. Fota's doesn't really resemble an actual chess piece. His looks like a sword similar to the one in Bring It On. Now I was going to say, too bad that we don't have a sword just like the one Lady Justice has. And there it is. The sword shows authority, including the power to punish injustice. It also implies being able to cut through obstacles to get to the facts of a case, but he doesn't have the libra, just the sword, meaning he isn't fair and he doesn't listen to both sides of a story, which is true. He did that. Mu is a queen, again self-explanatory, but instead of a crown she has a sting like a bee. Similar to how she looked like in It's Not My Fault. Shidou's hard. The bottom and upper part being the same size and balancing each other. It shows that the value of what's taken and giving is the same. Mappies look similar to a fountain for birds, a boat or even a lighthouse. First one would fit her birdcage connections we see in the first trial MV, and official arts. A boat often sways because of the strong waves, fitting to her relationship with her boyfriend going through hard times like waves, and their relationship swaying from side to side. Just like their breakup rituals. A lighthouse may mean the desire for stability, clarity, and safety in the midst of chaos. It could also mean being trapped in a cycle of dysfunction, relying on someone or something toxic for direction and security, despite the dangers it presents. What do you think fits more? Please tell me. Kazui's look really firm and hard to get through, like not finding out what the truth behind his lies are, and Kotoko's trouble against fighting him. Amani's look like her Purge March outfit. Mikoto's has 3 layers, sections, and 1 head. The 3 layers represent the Trikoto theory, and the head is the body, meaning Kotoko is aware of Midokoto. Now at last, I want to talk about this scene. We see that Kazui is part of the not forgiven ones, well, part with Mikoto and Amane. Why? Kazui was forgiven, but he defended the others and fought against Kotoko for them. In Kotoko's eye, Kazui is not forgiven because he was in her way. She was also not able to win against him, just like Mikoto and Amane. Also, she was able to punish Futa and Mappi, but in Mikoto's case he was protected by John and she later didn't have time to give Amane her punishment. That's why these 3 are together. At first I thought it's because they are exactly the last 3 prisoners before Kotoko, but that's not the case. Kotoko is looking at Kazui from a distance, analysing him and trying to understand him. She is holding Amane. She could have punished her as well. She was so close and yet so far away. And at last Mikoto. She is holding him, being able to punish him was so close. Still she wants to understand Trikoto as well. That's why she looks like she is analysing him. At the end we see them all broken except for Kazui, without her being near them, meaning she didn't need to move. Milgram already punished them mentally except for Kazui. She keeps repeating the issues of the prisoners in the song to remind herself what they are, making sure that she doesn't forget and getting too attached to them. She reduces them to the words she uses, just like the chess pieces. To make it quick, I've decided to just show you who she meant at certain parts in the lyrics. Everything that starts with under are the prisoners that were forgiven in Trial 1. But still, she calls them in order, so the unforgiven ones are still mentioned. Everything she says is connected to the title of their first trial MV, or what happened in the MV as well. Still keeps me wondering if she actually eavesdropped the MVs. Since English is not my first language, I didn't know what inept meant, but I found out it means clumsy or incompetent. So she calls S a not good enough guard. She demands S to give her next target, which would be Haruka and Mu since they were not forgiven. Currently it makes sense to not forgive Kotoko as well, so she is restrained. And at the end, when she sings about the forgiven prisoners from the first trial again, they're broken down on the floor. But she doesn't sing about the unforgiven ones, and we don't see them since they are already broken. She already punished them, and only the forgiven ones are left to punish. Also, she's calling Ez the 11th. Does she know that Ez might have been a prisoner as well in the past? Well, that's what's going on according to the novels. And there is apparently a 11th prison cell in Milgram. What do you think? I was thinking about not mentioning this, but it's about the official French translation. Perhaps you have noticed it because a lot of people started talking about. So what happened? Apparently Kotoko used really inappropriate slurs when singing about the prisoners, and somehow we got indirectly confirmed that Kazui is gay. That's actually so crazy. Someone on Tumblr explained what she said, so please read it. Here are the screenshots. There were a lot of discussions about the translations, people saying Kotoko is even more guilty than before and all that. I'd say there were some mistakes around the translations, but they're still official. I hope it gets changed afterwards to not be so sexistic, homophobic and ableist. First let's talk about who exactly Lucky is. I call her Lucky because of her cap. I've seen people chose to call her Keiko, which is such an adorable name, but I will stick with Lucky for now. So, this the little girl Kotoko saved in Harrow. She is back in deep cover, and it seems like Kotoko started to take care of her after the incident. Where are her parents? Shouldn't they be much more careful after the incident? It's really weird. And Lucky looks like the kidnapper Kaneshiro Tsugumichi. Perhaps they're related like siblings maybe. I mean, how often do freckles appear in Milgram? They've done this on purpose. Could it mean that her parents' victim blamed her? And that's why Kotoko is always with her? I don't know any other reason why her parents could be absent. Maybe I'm just reaching because I don't have enough evidence to back it up except for their similar looks. Here, Lucky was really grateful towards Kotoko. She hugged her out of gratitude and desperation. It must have been really scary all by her own. And Kotoko looks terrified and out of breath after killing him. I'd say this is her first murder because of her expression, and that she's even scared of herself, and what has become of her, like the wolf at the end of the MV. A lot of you mentioned that Kotoko's grip on Lucky means that she wants to push her away, but I'd say this is Kotoko also holding the girl out of desperation, both of them terrified of what just happened. There is some anger as well hidden inside because of the injustice, like, I'm going to protect more people. You know what I mean? Afterwards, Kotoko had to live quietly and not hurt anyone else, or else she will be suspected more since she was on court and probably watched. The father of the kidnapper criticised Kotoko and claimed Kotoko probably threatened Lucky to make the testimony. Now, I don't think I'm going to trust the father of the damn kidnapper on that one. So, anyway, Lucky has withdrawn the testimony. I assume she was threatened by someone, most likely by the father. He is a really influencing man. He is literally the president of Senku newspaper, which I assume is a large newspaper company in the Milgram world. Something I'd like to mention is in Harrow we see Tsugumichi dragging Lucky into this building. Kotoko is wearing her blue outfit, but when she is attacking him she wears her red jacket. Does it mean she waited? Let him hurt Lucky so that's enough evidence in court? It makes sense because then it could actually count as self-defense when she shows them how badly hurt Lucky was, and that it could have ended worse for the both of them. I can imagine Kotoko doing something like that in the name of justice. And what if out of guilt she hanged out with Lucky? Make her recover so she doesn't feel guilty anymore and then ditch her. Might be too extreme because Kotoko likes to talk about protecting the weak. It's probably more like Kotoko was disappointed of herself for not protecting Lucky enough, because Lucky was threatened to withdraw her testimony. That's why she kept her distance so that Lucky doesn't get hurt anymore because of her. And in this scene, I wouldn't say that Kotoko looks angry at Lucky. At the start she looks really angry and there's no light in her eyes, but the moment she notices Lucky, there is light in her eyes again, and she doesn't look angry anymore. It really seems she acts like she doesn't know Lucky, and when she looks away from Lucky the light is gone again. She's not angry at Lucky, more disappointed of herself for not protecting the weak. But do you guys think Kotoko just used Lucky? Please tell me. After that, Kotoko leaves Lucky all on her own. While she walks away, there are a lot of traffic lights turning red, motioning her to stop, but she's not turning back and keeps walking to continue accomplishing justice. I think she is going to commit her second and last murder. Maybe she's going to kill the father of the kidnapper? Who knows? The only thing I can say is that she is boiling with fury and is now unstoppable. Then she looks really angry into the camera, and a yellow fog appears. The fog was also there in Harrow. I'm not sure what it means. The colour yellow has many meanings. Any ideas? Afterwards, she looks really out of control, but at some scenes she looks like she's holding back. Then her eyes turn magenta, similar to her prison colour, and then her shadow turns into a werewolf. But why a werewolf? I found this explanation and it fits perfectly, often associated with untamed energies, trickery or deceit, and the underbelly of primal human instincts. The werewolf can be interpreted as the struggle between both good and evil within a human being, the inescapable and uncontrollable nature of our raw emotional urges. We can even tell that Kotoko is struggling emotionally. She is terrified of herself. She is the good side and the werewolf, which represents her wanting to bring justice into the world, a goal she had since she was young. The werewolf is pretty much telling her it's too late to stop. We see the werewolf towering over her, giving her no space to move, forcing her pressured down. She is not able to move freely. The werewolf that came out of her shadow could also mean the responsibilities she has. Since it's her shadow, it's been following her the entire life. She looks really terrified at the end because she doesn't know what to do anymore, but inside of her, the wolf pressures her to continue. The moment we saw the moon in the sky of Milgram, I thought we would get a whole room tour of Milgram. I got to know how it actually looked inside. I already know we kind of got the layout and some cells, but you know what I mean. It's still nice to know that the prisoners are able to see the sky and the stars. So anyway, before the werewolf appeared, we saved the moon phases and it came out on full moon. The moon also has the magenta colour similar to her prison colour. The name of the voice drama is Yona, written in all caps similar to S's and her first voice drama. After some researching, I still don't quite get why her voice drama is called Yona. So, she confirmed she was ready to punish Amani as well, but didn't have any time left because of Kazui's and John's interference. S saying they don't want to work with Kotoko anymore makes me want to not forgive her as well. I like it if we are able to see what S's thoughts are, and in that moment they were really angry at Kotoko. But I do agree, Kotoko. Giving karma to murderers who deserve it is right, but still the prisoners that are inside Milgram are there for the same reasons as you. This sentence. She literally knows how some of us are voting. Afterwards she calls S's kind of way incompetent and useless. Leave my bestie alone. Then S's head starts to hurt again because of all the questioning about them being not good enough as a guard. The way Kotoko talked made me all soft and comforted as well. The voice actress did an amazing job. The scene of Kotoko comforting S also reminded me of Lucky's and Kotoko's relationship. But S doesn't accept Kotoko's comfort and stands up for themselves. Kotoko then lets all her anger out about all the weaklings that are all about justice, but don't do anything about it. I'm not sure what else to add to this part, so on to the next one. This will be very short. So both are children that were being beaten up and then saved by Kotoko. But Kotoko knew that Mikoto had something going on and that the kidnapper was really dangerous. Still, she waited, just like in Harrow, so that at the end she looked like a hero for them, or should I say the long-awaited hero. Do you think that's possible? I really think the emotions Kotoko felt for the girl and the murder were real, yet this whole situation is so fitting. The lyrics and to rely on her. And both them relied on her at the start, both wanting her to stop. In Lucky's case, it's the terrified face and all the red traffic lights, but she was not able to stop her. And what S is going to do depends on what we are going to vote. If you know any other parallels, these both share, please tell me. I'm sure there is more. Like always, I've some unanswered questions left. Feel free to answer, other than that I hope we will get answers in the interrogation. Where are Lucky's parents? What is Kotoko's and Lucky's relationship? Did Kotoko really kill only 2 people, and if yes, who is the other one? Who are these 2 girls? They seem to victims of Kaneshiro as well. Is the Kotoko being a victim of his theory still possible? What is Kotoko's motivation for justice? How many times did he torture someone and was getting away with this? Is Lucky still alive? I think something might have happened after Kotoko left. Imagine if Kotoko's sin is not only the murder of the kidnapper, but also inspiring Lucky to become like her. And Lucky died because of that. Someone on Twitter had this theory because of Mikoto's situation with his work life is kind of similar to his father's. As if Mikoto got inspired by his father, and Kotoko inspired Lucky. And we still don't know where this place is. It's not the warehouse where the kidnapper died, right? All chess pieces are grey. Does it mean Kotoko is aware of morally greyness of each murder? Are those cracks, or is it the texture of the pieces? I have not read the novels or the manga yet, I just know some things, but I have also seen a few screenshots of the manga and this table. It's similar looking to the one in the MV. Is Kotoko perhaps aware of the previous trials, or at least on how they worked? It's scarily similar. If you know more, feel free to comment. Even after all this researching, I'm still unsure if I should forgive or unforgive her. I definitely forgive her crime, but her doings in the Milgram prison, I'd rather not. It's actually similar to Shidou's case. I don't forgive his crime, but his doings, like helping other prisoners and saving them, makes me forgive him. I think at Trial 3 I will try to vote them based on their crimes, but I'm not sure what happens after Trial 3. Will we still get songs? New designs? Just a simple short video of Jackalope explaining what happened? Anyways, I'm not sure what to vote Kotoko. I think I won't forgive her this trial, just so she is restrained and not be able to hurt the other, not forgiven ones or even forgiven prisoners. I hope the others aren't going to hurt her out of revenge. Since Trial 2 has ended, I'm finally able to start Haruka's, Yuno's and Futa's theory analysis. I will also be redoing a few of my first videos, because I feel like I didn't do them right. And it would also be nice if they are voiced, am I right? Comment under these videos if you think I have missed something, so I can add them on the improved versions. Also, wish me luck on my exams. If you also have an exam soon, don't worry, we can suffer together. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.